Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be putting on a full face of Dior using the new products. I've already done a video showing the pink lilac, that is the blush, and also the various lip products as well, and I'm going to be using that again today. But I'm also going to be using one of the newly released, the Dior Quince, and that is the one in Pastel Glow. And I have tried this all together a few days ago and I thought that it looked really beautiful. So my skincare has been done for the morning. Last step is sunscreen, and now I've just got to put on some primer. So for primer today I'm going to use the Dior. This is the Forever Velvet Veil, and I just take a couple of pumps of that and just pop this on. This is a really lovely primer. They also did one in, this is more for mattifying, although it doesn't feel matte when it's put on your face, but it's more for those geared with combination to oily skin. But they also did a primer in a glow as well, which is more suited to normal to dry skin, but it is a really lovely primer. And before I put on my foundation, I'm going to use another Dior product, and I'm not sure whether this is going to be available in the US or not. I've had this for at least 3 weeks now, and this is the Dior. This is called the Skin Glow Tone Up, and it's in 2 different shades. It comes in cushion form. One's in lilac and the other one is in a peach color. The lilac is more for brightening and the peach color is more for evening out skin tone. So I picked up the peach one, and the reason why I picked them up is because they have these really beautiful cases, and I picked up the pink one and also the beige one as well. They are just absolutely gorgeous. Now, because I didn't pick up the tone up that is the pink, I bought a cushion foundation instead, and if you're able to get your hands on a cushion foundation, they do fit into these cases. So I've got the cushion foundation in here, and then I've got the tone up in peach in this one. So here is a close up of these really beautiful cushion cases. And then when you buy the tone up product, it does come in these cases, and also comes with a little applicator. I don't use these, but they do work really well. And then you just, once you've put it into the case, you just open it up and there is the cushion. So you can see that it is quite peach colored, and I think this does a really good job at evening out my skin tone. And I've worn it a couple of different ways. I've put this all over my face, which I'm going to do today, and then just add just a little bit of foundation where I need it. So if you're feeling like a makeup look with not much foundation on, this works perfectly for that. Or just use it underneath and doing the full coverage of your cushion foundation or liquid foundation, and that looks really beautiful as well. But this is quite good for evening out, and then you just need to put on a little bit of foundation where you think you need it. But either way, it does look really beautiful on. So I'm just taking a dampened beauty blender and just press it into that cushion. So it doesn't give a lot of coverage, and that's not what these are supposed to do. Really, it's just to even out your complexion. So you could wear it by itself if you wanted to, because it doesn't leave that peach color on your skin. Now, I have also seen videos with people using the lavender one, and that works really beautifully as well if you feel like you need a little bit of brightening with your complexion. And also what I love about this is I think it works really well under my eyes and just helps just even out the darkness just a little bit. Now, it doesn't take it away. Of course, I'm still going to put foundation as well and a little bit of concealer. But I just think it does a really beautiful job at just evening out your complexion. It feels very lightweight on the skin. It doesn't feel like you're wearing anything at all. And this does have a fragrance. So I'm hoping that this will come to the US, because it is a really lovely product. And once you put it on and you let it settle for about 30 seconds or so, you can see that it It's very subtle, but it does a really lovely job at just evening things out. And before I put the cushion foundation on, here is a close-up of the pink case. They are just absolutely stunning. So this is what the cushion foundation looks like. Now normally in a Dior foundation I buy 2.5 neutral. This is in 3N. When it comes to the Dior cushions with the foundation, they don't tend to go in the half shade numbers. And previously I bought a cushion foundation at 2N and I just think that is just too light for my complexion. And I think the 3N works really well. So I'm just going to use the other side of the beauty blender that I was using before and just press into that cushion, and it works really beautifully. And I think this is a really lovely foundation. Now this one is in the matte, although when they say a matte foundation, they're not like a flat drying matte, but they just work really well with my oily complexion. But it is a really beautiful product. So I'm not quite sure why they don't really sell these in the US. I'm sure there would be a market for it. Perhaps it's because they just don't do the bigger shade ranges in the cushions, because I think they're really geared more for the Asian market, and New Zealand and Australia is included in the Asian drop when they drop the new products. So I'm really pleased that I can get my hands on these cushion foundations. I think they are really beautiful. And just before I put on my concealer, I will just grab the Pink Lilac and the Lip Glow Oil. This is really lovely, and I think I'll put this on just while I'm putting on the rest of my makeup, as I find that it just gives a really beautiful hydration to your lips. I do wear it just by itself. It doesn't really have a huge amount of pigment, but these oils are really lovely also for prepping your lips before you put on your final lip product as well. Now for concealer, I'll just use the Dior Forever one, and this is in the shade 2WP. I also have the shade, I think it's in 2N, but this one has a little bit of peachiness in it as well. So it also does just a little bit of correcting. So I'm just going to grab the BK Beauty brush and just blend that concealer out. And I also picked up 2 more of the new Dior eyeliners as well. I am in love with them. I think they are a really beautiful product. So out of the 2 new shades that I picked up, I will be using one of those today. So I've now done my eyebrows and also powdered under my eyes and put some powder on my face as well. So for bronzer, I'm going to use one of the new Dior bronzers. In a previous video, I used the one that had the pink through it. This has got the coral through it. I am in love with these bronzers. I just think they are beautiful. So I'm just going to take a Sonia G brush and just swirl through there. I love this very subtle luminosity that they have got. It's just beautiful, and it's very subtle, but it's just enough. It gives a really beautiful warmth and just this really beautiful sheen. I think they're gorgeous. They blend out really beautifully. They go on fairly sheer, although I have got the lighter color. I didn't pick up the pink in the darker or the coral in the darker bronze, but I think that you can build these quite beautifully, and you just get this really beautiful, healthy, subtle look. Just absolutely gorgeous. So as I said at the beginning of the video, for the eyeshadow I'm going to use one of the newly released Quince, and this is the one in Pastel Glow, and I've worn this about 2 or 3 times and I think it is absolutely beautiful. I will swatch this on the back of my hand, but I'm not going to do any comparisons. There are a ton of videos out there on this Quint, and many of them do have comparisons. I think this is a beautiful, beautiful color story. The only thing with this, or a couple of questions I've had from people, is this shade in here. Now I've taken a photo of this in natural light, so I'll pop it up if I remember. And it does look green in person. There was some people that thought that the green was perhaps photoshopped by Dior for the promo photos, but it hadn't been. It definitely looks green in the pan, and when you put it on the eye, it's not as green, like a real mint green, but there's definitely a bit of that mint green in there, and I actually think it is a really beautiful shade. So I'll swatch this on the back of my hand so you can take a look. So this is a swatch from left to right, top to bottom, and the middle shade is last here, and I'm hoping you can see, I've turned down the light in front of me, that definitely has that minty sort of shift to it. It actually is really beautiful, and this lilac color in here is just gorgeous. And this one here I like because you can use it for deepening up the look, and here is a peachy color, but overall it is a really beautiful quint. So I'm going to take this on G. This is the Jumbo Blender, and I'm going to start off with, I think, this shade here, because I'm going to put this one, start off putting this all over the lid. So all of these are satins, and there aren't any mattes in the quint. And sometimes that can worry me a bit. Sometimes when all the shades are satins, I think that it can emphasize texture a bit on your lids. But with this, I don't find that it does. I just think it is really beautiful. I find the formula really good as well. I know there's a lot of people that don't like it as much as the older formula that Dior had, but I really don't have any issues with it. Now with this quint, it is definitely more of a softer look, but I think really pretty for the summer. I'm going to take the Rapha 14 and I'm going to go into this deeper shade, and I'm going to put that just in the outer corner. The other thing I find with these is that they are quite buildable. So you can even go lighter than this if you want to, or if you want to get a little bit more depth, you certainly can. I've got no issues with them blending. I think they blend out really beautifully. It's just that you're not going to get that massive punch of colour. But for me, I just find this absolutely perfect. Now I've also recently picked up that Byredo palette. I got it from Selfridges, and I've used it about 2 or 3 times. And I'm hoping to do a video on it soon, because it's coming in and out of stock at different retailers. Now that is an absolutely beautiful palette, so I'm hoping to do a video on that fairly soon. But I've also got some of that new Chanel coming as well, so I just have to prioritize my videos a bit. So I'm going to stay with the shade, and I'm going to take the Rapha number 3 and just run that shade on my lower lash line. I'm just taking the Rapha number 2 brush, and I'm going to go into the lilac shade here. And just pop that through here, just over the rest of my lid. Now I've also applied this using, also just spraying my brush as well, and you do get some more pigment if that's what you want. But I think using it just with a dry brush, I think that looks really beautiful as well. And then I'm just staying with that lilac shade and just bringing it up just through there. And then I'm just going to wipe down the Rapha number 3 brush on my cloth in front of me. And now I'm going to go into this mint shade here, and I'm going to put that in my inner corner. And I'm also going to take it on my lower lash line just a little bit, just through here. Probably just through to the middle, just to give it a little bit of highlight. And again, if you wanted a little bit more punch out of the colour, you certainly can wet the brush, either with water or a setting spray. I'm just going to grab another BK Beauty brush. I'm going to go back into this darker shade, this one here. And this is quite a small, more dense brush, just so I can build up the colour just in the outer corner, just here. And for eyeliner, as I was saying, I'm going to use one of the new Dior ones. Now, these are on the Dior US website, but at the moment it just says to join for the wait list. But these have been available here in New Zealand and Australia for at least a week. Now, initially I picked up 2 pearly shades. I picked up Pearly Lilac and also the Pearly Silver. I'll swatch these on my hand so you can take a look at them. But I love them so much. They are soft but not too soft, and they last really well with my oily skin. The other day, I think it might have been yesterday, I took some photos of it with swatches for Instagram, and I did that photo in the morning, and then the swatches stayed on my arm and here for about 16 hours, and then that night they were still just like I'd swatched them, and to remove them I had to use eye makeup remover. And then the next morning there was still a tiny bit left of the lilac that I had missed using the eye makeup remover. So when I say that they don't budge, they don't budge, but they go on very smoothly and they don't tug. So the other 2 shades that I picked up is Matte Taupe, and also I picked up the matte grey one as well. So first of all, let's go back to the first 2 that I picked up. I used these in another video, but let's have a look again at Pearly Lilac. So this one here is Pearly Lilac, and then we have Pearly Silver. Now this is a really beautiful shade, and it really pops, and when I used it in my previous video I used it for the inner corner and it looks really beautiful. So the 2 new shades, this is Matte Taupe. So this one here is Matte Taupe. Really beautiful shade. They've also got a brown shade as well, but I like the sound of the Matte Taupe one, and I'm pleased I got it. It is a really lovely shade. And this one here is the matte grey. Now, I love a grey eyeliner because you can still get that extra depth, but it's not as harsh as sometimes using a black eyeliner. Now, the other end of these eyeliners, there is a sponge, so you can use that for smudging if you want to. So that's at the very end. And then more towards where the colour band is here, you pull off that and there is a sharpener, so you can just sharpen it using that, and they just both click in to the end. So just hold these swatches up a little bit closer. So I've got Pearly Lilac, Pearly Silver, Matte Taupe and Matte Grey. So today I'm going to use the Matte Taupe one. These go on really easily. I also like it that the pencil isn't too big as well, so if you want to tight line, it makes tight lining really easy. Sometimes I tight line, but I have a huge reflex with my eyes. It doesn't take very much for me to blink. I just don't like foreign objects near my eyes. So with these, they twist up and twist down again as well. So I'm just going to go into the sponge at the end and just smudge it out just a little bit. And then for blush, I'm going to use the beautiful, this is the Pink Lilac. This is just gorgeous. I did a dedicated video, I think it was last week, on the lip products and this blush, and I've used it quite a few times since. It is absolutely gorgeous and it is buildable. But the other thing with this product, once you put it on, if you wait a couple of minutes, maybe put on your lipstick, it does tend to develop, for want of a better word, sort of meld with your skin, and the colour comes out just that little bit more. So I put on just a bit and then I wait a minute or two, and sometimes once I've waited, that's really enough. And if I think it needs a little bit more, like I say, I just wait 1 or 2 minutes, but it is such a beautiful colour. And for the highlight, I'm going to use the Dior, the Forever Glow Maximizer. Now these work beautifully as a blush as well, but I'm just going to use it as a highlight today. So just one little dot on each side and just blend that out just on the high point through here. I love this product, and I have bought another shade. I already had this one and the one in peach, but I've just bought the one in nude as well, and that is beautiful. And I think hopefully sometime around next week I'm going to do a Dior look using, it's almost like a no makeup, barely there Dior makeup look. And the nude Glow Maximizer is the one that I'll use just as a blush as well, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. So it's been a couple of minutes now since I applied that blush, and I could put a little bit more on if I wanted to build up the shade, but I like it just like that. I just like that sheer wash of the colour. It's just gorgeous. And I've already used the new lip oil, the one in Pink Lilac, and I also have the lip glow that I showed in the previous video, and also the maximizer in Pink Lilac as well. I think today I'll just use the maximizer just on its own, just to give a very sheer wash of colour. And I love these lip glosses. I think they are absolutely beautiful.
The river flows one direction, and fishes, they follow the flow. But what if one tried to mention that there was...
So here is the finished look. I just think it's beautiful. I have worn all of these products together at least a couple of times before doing this video, and I just think it is so pretty, really soft and really feminine. All of these gorgeous products, Dior are hitting it out of the park. Where do I start? If you can get your hands on that tone up cushion, the peach colored one or the lavender one, whichever one you prefer, I think that is really good for evening out your skin tone. It is a beautiful formula. It is lightweight, and you don't have to put on like a full face of foundation over top of that if you don't want to. Since it evens out your complexion, you can just add a little bit of foundation or even just concealer here and there if you want a really light makeup look. Either way, it looks really beautiful. The cushion foundations are gorgeous, but as I was saying, I don't think you can get hold of those in the US. I think you may be able to get them in the UK, and if you're interested, I will put a link up so you can take a look at that. The new bronzers are just beautiful. I'm glad I picked up this coral one. As I said, I've already got the lighter pink one as well. They give a very subtle, healthy warmth to the skin, not over the top, a little bit of luminosity, but really just give that really gorgeous, healthy glow. The quint is absolutely gorgeous. Again, it's not got a super amount of punch or pigment to it, but I still think the colors just look really beautiful. The lilac through here is gorgeous, and this deeper shade here is deep enough so you get a difference with the shade. And I love the center shade as well. That minty green is just absolutely gorgeous, a really beautiful quint. Now I also picked up the other one as well. So what I'll do is I've got the Poppy Coral blush and also a couple of the Poppy Coral lip products as well. So I'll do another full face of Dior, putting the quint and the blush and the lip products together as well. The lip products are beautiful. I've been wearing them a lot. Even on, I've had a couple of days over the last week where I haven't worn any makeup, but I have reached for this lip oil and popped it on, and it just feels just really nourishing and moisturizing on the lips. And it's lovely on its own, but also a really good way just to prep your lips at the very beginning before you apply the rest of your makeup and before you apply your final lip product as well. And of course, the eyeliners. I love these. As I was saying, initially I picked up the Pearly Silver and the Pearly Lilac. So impressed with the formula and how they lasted that I picked up the other two shades. And the matte taupe looks absolutely beautiful. The grey would have looked really beautiful with this look as well. Or even use that the pearly silver in the inner corner if you wanted a little bit more punch. They just last so well. As I was saying, they are soft, but they're not too soft, and the pencil itself is not too wide, so you have a lot of control. If you want a tight line, it'd be perfect for that. It doesn't tug on your lid, and when you've got more mature skin, your skin is looser, so there can be issues with eyeliners for that. Now, people are going to ask me, which eyeliners do I prefer? Now, before buying these, my favorites were the Chanel and also the Guerlain. They are my two favorite eyeliners. Where do these sit amongst that? Well, I would say that they could be sitting at number one. Now, that's not to say I won't use my Chanel eyeliners or I won't use the Guerlain ones, but that is how good the formula is. I just find it absolutely beautiful to apply. And of course, with my oily skin, the lasting power is really important as well. But that's how good these are. They'll probably take the number one position. And next time I do an order with Dior, I'll have a look and see if maybe there might be a couple of other shades that I want to pick up as well. Absolutely beautiful and definitely worth purchasing. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.